Hey, it's Rich.
And Taylor.
With Town Wine Spirits. Why is my glass empty?
I don't know, that's a great question. I think we should fill it.
We should. With?
Chardonnay.
You know, it's amazing how many people come in the store and they immediately ask, ooh, can you give me a recommended good bottle of Chardonnay? And of course, we always typically go to either one of two regions, California
Or France.
Burgundy.
Yeah.
So we're here to give you 4 other options, 4 regions of different Chardonnays.
Absolutely.
Let's see what we got.
All right.
All right, so start, we're going to go off with the Lola.
Hold on. Please hit the subscribe button and follow us as we explore the better side of wine and spirits.
That was good.
Very good, huh? Yeah.
You've been practicing.
I've been practicing in front of a mirror. Thank you.
All right, we're going to first start off with Lola Chardonnay coming from the Sonoma Coast. They started in 2008.
Yes.
One of the great things with Lola is they're really very much more about controlling the farming. They believe, starting the farming, you get better grapes. Kind of makes sense. So this is now the 2020 vintage. They do age it mostly in second passed French oak.
And they're definitely doing a little bit of malolactic, or they're doing full malolactic.
I think so.
So you're getting a little more creaminess, a little more richness. It's definitely a classic sort of California, where you're getting more of that butter, that cream, but it's not overly oaked. It's not super vanilla.
It's definitely a classic California, but not over oaked, which I think is really important here. Really good mouthfeel, good concentration. That's enjoyable.
Yeah, $22.
Yep.
So I think it's a very good value. I think it represents a really good take on Sonoma Coast Chardonnay. It's very friendly, very approachable. Okay, now that we've tasted the California Lola, we're going to move over to Burgundy, which is the other sort of most famous region for Chardonnay. This is the Joseph Drouhin Bourgogne Blanc, 2020 vintage. This comes in at $20, so it's very reasonably priced. The producer's been operating since the 1880s, so very classic Burgundy house. There's a little bit of confusion is exactly the way that this is aged. So we know it's aged in stainless steel, but then there's also references to being aged for certain parcels being aged for 1 to 2 years, or certain wines being aged 1 to 2 years. We think that implies that there's a little bit of better vineyard sites that are added into this to add a little bit more sort of a serious tone to the wine.
It seems like it's mostly 7 to 8 months in stainless, and then, like you said, adding in maybe some more aged wines.
There's no question on the nose that this is a very beautiful expression of Chardonnay from Burgundy.
Freshness, I think, a little bit of zip to it. That oak is almost non-existent, but I think the concentration. Really
I definitely get some orchard fruits. I definitely get a tiny bit of like sort of salinity, sort of lift freshness on the finish. Again, $20, beautiful bottle of wine.
All right, now that we got the 2 classics out of the way, now we're moving to New Zealand. This is the Kumeu River Village. So Kumeu River is making some incredibly high-end wines. This is their entry-level Chardonnay, coming in at $24, just kind of give an example. But this is, so New Zealand, this is going to be in the northern island, kind of almost in the, not the northernmost point, but it's getting up there. So very breezy. They get a lot of afternoon winds to really kind of cool down and extend that growing region.
Growing region? Growing season.
Season.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I get a lot of, immediately there's a nice impact of lime, flint. It's very mineral driven.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really, really neat. I do think you get a kind of touch of creaminess on the nose, but not really an impact of wood.
Yeah, so it's 58% stainless steel. The rest is going to be in basically neutral French oak. Yeah, so this is absolutely delicious. It's a little bit, I don't want to say linear, but it has a little more of that minerality, a little more of the flint, a little bit crisper.
Yes. Yeah, I think there's a bit more cut in it. And I think that, again, a $24 bottle of Chardonnay that drinks certainly above its price point. And I think really represents what the winery's doing, which is making high-end, beautiful Chardonnay that competes with high-end white Burgundy, but from New Zealand. Now we're moving on to the Boschendal, which is going to be coming from South Africa, which particularly interests me.
Really?
Yes. So I grew up drinking a lot of South African wines. It's how I sort of was brought into the wine business, was sort of a passion in the family for South African wines. So I think this is going to be really interesting. I'm very excited to try it. And so this is coming from Elgin. This is part of their Appellation series. So Elgin is just sort of southeast of Stellenbosch. This is all coming from mountainside vineyard sites, which has a sort of rocky, stony soil over a clay subsoil. It does see some new wood, so you're getting 20% new wood, 34% sort of second-use wood. I think this, to me, drinks the biggest out of them so far. I think it's a very elegant nose, but it definitely has a richness to it. The oak plays a part but doesn't take over. Really good texture.
Yeah.
Great texture. I definitely feel like this is elevated from the rest. That's not necessarily better, but there's a more serious sort of take to this wine.
The wood, like I said, it definitely the nose like a little bit more than oak, but it's definitely integrated in the wine, so it's adding the richness and the cream, like that body weight, but not overpowering.
What I think is interesting is that we said we weren't going to compare wines.
Yeah.
And we're not going to compare wines.
Oh, okay.
But this has a very integrated feel of the wood, like Burgundy would have, but in a frame that is sort of rich and sort of a little bit more sort of intense.
Yeah.
But not that California-style tropical fruit.
Correct.
I think it just really sits as really nice, beautiful middle middle part of the Chardonnay. That doesn't make any sense. I think it sits right in the middle of all the styles of Chardonnays of styles.
The middle styles.
The middle styles of Chardonnay.
Middle styles.
It's $30. It's really good.
The Sturm here is the next one we're going to be doing. This is coming from the Friuli region in Italy, which is really the most northeastern section of Italy, just at the top of the Adriatic Sea, but south of the Alps. And the beauty with that region is it gets very hot days and very cold nights.
So the cold nights is really, really important.
Yeah.
Because generally speaking, when you get cold nights, you're going to get good acidity. I think Chardonnay really excels when it has a really good core of acidity on it, and I definitely think you get this here.
Yeah. So again, also this has been aged mostly in stainless steel, 80% stainless steel, 20% neutral oak.
Which really just going to make it like sort of fresh and vibrant and clean. You're getting a lot of like sort of fresh cut citrus, a little bit of white flower. I think it's really beautiful. It's really wonderful in the nose.
It's so much fun to experience and see how these regions clearly have a different take on the same varietal.
Absolutely. People aren't going to normally think Northern Italy when they think of Chardonnay. But having tasted this and tasted other things, I think it is an exceptional region that really should be focusing a little bit more on Chardonnay, and consumers should be focusing more on drinking these wines because they're beautiful. This is $25. It's not expensive. It's very well made.
Yeah, that's excellent.
So for the last wine, we are moving on to Australia, but not just Australia. We're moving on to Tasmania.
Tasmania is actually kind of really cool. It's that little island that's south of Australia, and where the winery they have it's all estate fruit.
Ooh, that's really cool.
And there's basically two main estates that they have. One's kind of in the north central part of the country. The other is in the eastern coast. So the beauty there is it gets incredibly windy. So it's very, very cool climate.
And so this goes through, so during fermentation, 85% of it is in stainless steel, 15% is in neutral barrels. And then they age it for only 3 months in barrel before bottling it, which I think is really interesting. The expression on this is pretty different from everything else. You get big fruit, but you're getting lots of freshness, tons of acidity.
There's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fresh this is and vibrant.
Personally, this is one of my favorite wines right now for $20 in the store. So this would retail for $20. I think it's a screaming deal. I think it's a really sort of great way to drink Chardonnay that's a little bit different, but very sort of comforting. It's very friendly.
It is incredibly friendly, and I think it's just really delicious. It's just so fun to see and explore how each region is really providing such a different expression of the grape.
Yeah, so Chardonnay has the ability to be a lot of different things. It has the ability to express itself a lot of different ways. And I think that if you come in the store, we can give you lots of different ways to explore the varietal and really get an understanding of what it can be and what it can do.
Yeah, I agree. Well, hey, check it online, come in store. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Thanks.
Cheers. If you can please hit the subscribe button. So as Rich is grabbing the next one, the next one. If you can hit the subscribe. If you can hit the subscribe. Why is subscribe so hard to say? Hit the subscribe button. As Rich is grabbing the bottles of wine, if you can hit the subscribe. So hold on. if you could please hit the subscribe button. Please. I'm begging you, please hit the subscribe button to follow us as we explore the better side of wine and spirits. Holy it's hard. It's gonna be better. This isn't gonna be better.
Yes, it's gonna be.
It's not gonna be better.
Stop. Ready? Let's go. Channel. Let's go. That's it.
Rich, we got a problem.
Yep, we do.
I don't have any Chardonnay in my glass. And if you guys can please hit the subscribe button.